Hi, it's Amanda with Music Game Club, and this is bonus video 3 with Rocky Rhythms, and I'm going to talk about 5 one-on-one rhythm flashcard games you can play. So you do not have to use the game board unless you want to. You can always have the tokens on here, and whenever they do something, they can collect a token and count up points if you want to. So the first game is rhythm order. So you're going to give your student 5 cards, or 4 or 6. You can do any number that you feel that they can manage. So I'm going to do 5. And they're going to race to see how quickly they could place these in orders from shortest to longest. So I personally would do rests first for some reason. And then, if they have duplicate notes, they just go next to each other. And there you go. So then you could talk about it and say, okay, that's 1 beat, 1 beat, 1 beat, 2 beats, 4 beats. This one, I still get confused with the half rest and whole rest. So that's very important, because if they did it this way, you say, well, is that a half rest or a whole rest? And it's heavy, it's hanging under the line. So it's actually, that's one I can foresee my students getting mixed up. It's a whole rest. And you deal them 5 more cards and they put it in order. And if you want to, you could clap it. So you can clap and count it with 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever syllables you use for clapping. Number 2 is one of our favorite games to play with flashcards, and that is a match game. So you can use whatever cards you feel like your student knows, or even what they don't know, because they're just matching symbols. So you're going to start with 2 of each card, and you're going to flip them over. Make sure they're mixed up. These are not, so I'm going to kind of flip them over in a random order. Then you and the student will take turns flipping 2 cards face up. If they match, they get to collect them. If they don't match, they don't. And this is important because they're both quarter, but it's quarter rest and quarter note, so they aren't an exact match. Whoever gets a match collects it, then they go again. And then it's the next player's turn, and so on and so forth. Whoever has the most matches in the end wins. War is one of my favorites. So you're going to deal out half the deck to each. You could deal it one at a time to make sure it's even, and then each player flips up a card, and whoever has the most beats wins. Now, this one just happens to be a whole note and a whole rest. They technically both get 4 beats, so you can decide if this is a war or if the note wins because you hear it, but that might be a little confusing to the students because it doesn't get more, it just is louder. So we're gonna say it's war. So each player gives 3 cards. Then flips up another card. All right, so this one definitely wins. It's a half rest. So this player will get all of these cards. Add it to the bottom of their pile, and they keep playing. So let's just do one more. All right, this one wins and keeps going. Whoever ends up with the entire deck at the end wins the game. Idea number 4 is a note claim, and you can lay out 4 cards face up. They must be different, and you could play this 2 different ways. You can play it with what they're called or the note values. So you could say whole note, and they have to slap the correct note. They get to keep it, and you replace the card. So that will help the students recognize what they're all called. And of course, if you use UK terms, you can also do it with just your terms. And then if you're doing it with the note values, then you would say 1 beat. or 1 beat of silence. And so that would be the quarter note or the quarter rest. And then they'll learn both what they're called. You can play it that way 1 round, and then how many they get for the next one. And you can verify it. So let's say it's 1 beat of silence. They get this. And you could do, what's that one called? That's a quarter rest. So you can kind of teach both at the same time, but really focus on one with what you're calling out. The last idea is rhythm speed. Now this is to get your student to know them as fast as possible. And again, you could play this with either what they're called or what their value is. So my goal would be, can you say it in less than 3 seconds? So I would flip this up, and if they thinking about it and then they say a half note, but I haven't counted to 3 yet, then I give them another one. I give them another one, and we just keep going. The goal is to see how many you can get before you're stumped. So let's say they're stumped on that one, and you reached 4 seconds and they didn't answer it. All right, well, you take that one back, and you count their cards and see how many they got. They got 5, and then you'd play it again and see if they can get further. Like I said, you could play this with quarter note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, half note, or 1 beat of silence, 2 beats of silence, half beat each, 1 beat, however you want to play it. You could play it both ways to teach your students to focus on both. We hope you and your students have enjoyed playing Rocky Rhythms. Be sure to tag us if you take pictures with the success poster. We're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Tag us at Music Game Club, and have fun learning rhythms.